Welcome to the Five of Us. We are five outspoken women with close to 150 years of experience as broadcast journalists. We left our jobs on the very same day, and we are dedicated to helping women avoid the many pitfalls common to the workplace. We've heard from hundreds of people recounting tales of woe on the job, and we have done the research, we're putting it all in a book, and we are here to help. I'm Roma Torrey, and along with Kristen Shaughnessy, Janine Ramirez, Vivian Lee, and Amanda Farinacci, we are the Five of Us. Hi, everyone. You know, we have, the Five of Us have been working together for about little more than 2 full years now. And during the course of our research, as we had mentioned, we're putting a book together, and of course, the podcast, which we've been sort of crafting and thinking about for more than a year now. We have gained quite a bit of wisdom in this time, talking to a lot of people about their experiences in the workplace and things that they wish they could have done differently or better if they had a chance to start all over again. And so we thought that we would spend this episode offering some advice and frame it in the way that we would be giving advice to our younger selves when we were starting out, based on what we've learned since then. So we're going to go around and around and around, and each of us are going to hopefully come up with some really good pieces of advice to hopefully help you younger folks, if you're watching, or even folks who want to start all over again, to maybe improve their lives and do a better job. So my first piece of advice, and it actually, I'm picking up where I left off from the previous episode, and that is learn to say no. I have always been a very eager beaver at work, and I'm always overworking, and I said yes every time somebody asked me to do something, and it was really a challenge over the years for me. I've always worked too hard. I've worked too many hours. I don't sleep enough and all that. And it's not good for my health. And so my advice is to young people: know when a yes is right and know when a no is right, and listen to your gut, because generally speaking, that should help to guide you. All right, Kristen, next.
I think know what you don't know, and be willing to say you don't know something, instead of that false sense of confidence. And my sister-in-law, Laura, and I were talking about this too. And she had given this advice to my niece when she started, which was, don't worry if you make a mistake, even if it's a big mistake, just, you'll never make that mistake again, right? You'll correct it. It might be, very traumatic at the time, but you'll fix it and you'll never do that again. So you can always learn, but be willing to say, I don't know.
Very good. Very good. Amanda.
It's funny. When we were talking about having this conversation, I was like, oh, I'll be able to spit these out, 1, 2, 3. I was like, Jesus, I don't even know if anyway, I did think about it. And I think the most important thing that I would say to myself now then is to speak up professionally. I think that for a long time, when I was younger, I was very concerned about the perception that I would be viewed as annoying or nagging or the squeaky wheel if I kept raising concerns about things or advocating for myself professionally. And I saw other people do it, and I was like, I don't want to be that irritating person or whatever. And then people got things that I didn't, because I was afraid of being annoying. And so I would say to my younger self now, don't be the wallflower that's just or don't even give a shit about if somebody thinks you're annoying. If you're just asking for the thing that you want, just ask for the thing that you want and own it. I think I would say that I think that's good advice at any age, but I think definitely when you're young, just kind of ask for what you want and keep asking until you get it.
Right. Okay. Janine.
I would say don't label older employees as past their primes, has-beens, over the hill, because the fact is nobody gets younger, right? And so while you're young and you're gaining experience, you're moving up the ladder, you're gaining knowledge and confidence, you may think you're in your prime. But somebody may say, oh, that person's old. They've been here for a long time. They need to move on. And so, it could happen quicker than you think that it could happen. And so here you are, like in your groove, having earned your spot. And now, suddenly you're being cast aside. So all of that hard work and all that, that you've gained, this institutional knowledge, now you're marginalized. And so remember, everyone gets older by the second. And so you cannot stop the passage of time. And so really just work your way up, of course, and just realize that, right, the older employees are valuable and, and work with them as you grow older in the workplace.
Thank you, Janine. I especially appreciate that one. Okay, Vivian, you're on.
I've got two. One is based on experience. Don't be a perfectionist because you waste a lot of time and somebody else can beat you to the punch. I remember not getting a promotion because I was asked to just come up with a bunch of ideas on how to execute them. And I took my time, even to the point where the person who had asked was like, just a few days later, like, are you sending that in? And then somebody beat me to the punch, and it actually listed a couple of my own ideas and how to execute them. I always regretted that. The second tip is actually
hold off on your second tip, because we're going to go around the table.
Okay, sorry.
So hold off for for your next turn.
Okay.
There's a piece of advice. Wait your turn.
It's my turn. Okay. I was never good at that.
Okay, I guess it's back to me. And this one was really big for me because it was so frustrating working with interns. In fact, I got so frustrated with the attitude of young folks who were interning in my earlier days that I just said, I'm not doing interns anymore. And so my advice to young people when you're just coming into a job, or if you're starting an internship, listen, don't talk so much. Nobody wants to hear about your very limited life. And I know that sounds really rude and and bitchy, but if you're, in a workplace, it's very serious business. People are, focused on doing a really good job. And young people just think maybe that they're in school and they can chat a lot. I don't know what it is, but they come in, and I don't care about your life in the workplace. If you want to go out and have a drink with me afterwards, that's a whole different thing. But you're here to learn, and the best way to learn is to listen. And if you do have to speak, it's to ask a question, because there's no bad question, and I'm good for that. But, telling me what they did on their summer vacation, I could care less. So sorry, that's just me. But I will say the interns that did listen and follow through and all of that have remained in contact and friends with me in all this time. And we're going back like 30 years. So, the best ones stayed true to their character. And by the way, I do care about their lives now because they're all parents and they've moved on with their careers. But, when you're young and you're just starting out, just keep it quiet and pay attention, and you'll learn a lot more. I've spoken. Okay. Kristen, you're next.
This is, I think we all sort of live this way, but just be kind to everyone. I think that's how people should live their life, but that will come back to you in spades. And I think the five of us all left our job on the exact same day, and the amount of people that still reach out to us and keep in touch with us. And they always say it, people do not remember what you do, but they remember how you made them feel. And It is true, because I think all five of us get those comments and remarks, and that's what it's all about, right? At the end of the day. So just be kind to everyone.
Excellent. Yeah.
Say, Kristen, I saw that when you used to anchor in the morning, she used to come in with her brownies, and she used to feed the whole staff, and she used to bake cookies the night before and bring the whole staff. But I'm telling you, it was those little things that really made everybody feel special and bonded with you. And that's one of my tips too, is that relationships matter. Right. Mm-hmm. And so being kind to people and going out of your way for people is important. There are some coworkers that I've had in the past that they only pay attention to you, only speak to you if they're going to get something from you, or if they're going to advance their career by hanging out with you, or they're going to, you could offer them some kind of invite to some high profile event, and then they'll make sure they talk to you. Otherwise, they can't be bothered with you. And that's screwed up, because that happens a lot, especially in television news, right? Like you have people who really are working day in, day out, especially like the technical side, and they're working hard to make you look good. And the least you could do is just be kind and be nice. And, and like you said, people, they may forget what you did or what you said, according to Maya Angelou, right? But they'll remember how you made them feel. And those feelings could go both ways. So they'll remember when you made them feel good and in their presence, and you bonded in some way, and you uplifted them, you energized them, but you also remember when they made you feel bad. That doesn't go away either, right? You were disregarded, you felt played, you felt used. But, if they have good memories of you, then there's a chance, even if you part ways because you moved on to another job or some sort, that the relationship will come back and circle around in some capacity, right? You maybe even work with that person again, or that person may be working on a project and think of you and including you in that project when the opportunity arises. And even if that doesn't happen, you know what? You're still thought of as a good person, and that goes far.
But you know what? I'm just going to jump in for 1 second, because Janine, you brought up something that is actually a very good piece of advice that will endear any employee in the workplace. Food. Bring in a baked good, pastries, whatever, Because yes, Kristen, with the brownies, I used to bring in bagels every Friday when I was working the morning shift, and boy, that went far. Boy, did that make a big difference. So yes, food.
But like Janine was saying, if you bring in bagels and then you're just an absolute jerk,
Yeah.
that doesn't, people see right through that too. So
That's
you have to
true.
do both. Yeah.
Right. You got to be consistent, right?
Yeah. And I'm not talking about you and your bagels. So
Yeah, no. Have a sweet personality to go with the brownies. Right?
yeah, not a fake one. Yeah.
Okay. Amanda, you're up.
Janine, I was laughing when Roma was talking about the interns, because I was thinking about the one intern that you had that asked you to shoot something and asked, "Oh, do you have any lipstick? Can I
put my lipstick. Can I borrow your lipstick too? Can you shoot me like a video of me, and can I borrow your lipstick while I'm doing it?" I'm like,
because you're nice.
Keep it. Don't give it back.
Yeah. I guess kindness goes only so far, right? Keep the lipstick and never ask me that again. I would say mine is sort of more lighthearted here, but like, so much of what we do at this stage, we're like, older and have more experience or whatever. But like, I would say to my younger self, like, take the trip or the vacation or go on the date with the guy that you weren't sure. Like, I would say, like, do the things that you sort of waffled about because you thought like, oh, if I do that, I'll miss out on this opportunity at work, or I don't really have the money for that, or I'm not sure. Like, I feel like at this point, if I look back on like the previous 20 years of my life, like I don't have like any, I regret not having certain experiences. I'm never sad that I missed a day of work. Right. Like, and so I think like when you're younger, you have that, like that pressure where you feel like you need to be on and perform and show up and say yes. Like, I think we're all sort of victims of that and having been raised that way. But I would say, my father-in-law used to always say to me, like, there's always going to be another party. And so if you can't make everyone, don't worry about it. But like, I would say certain things, there are experiences that if you miss them, like, you don't get that opportunity again. And like, when you're young and stupid enough to enjoy certain things, you really should. You really should.
Especially if it's a trip. Like if you miss a vacation, because at that time in your life in your 20s, it's not the same thing with experiencing Europe in your 30s or experiencing Europe in your 40s. Like if you have a chance to go when you're young, take it.
I had a friend who like had a destination wedding in, I don't know, in Mexico or something. And I had like 4 weddings at once and I was making like no money. And I just was like, I can't even sell my soul to try to make this happen. And I always feel bad about it. Like even now it's 20 years later and I'm like, I wish I was able to figure that out. Like I wish I borrowed money or whatever, but it's different space, but I do think that experiences matter.
Yep. I agree. All right. Who's next? Vivian.
Well, I'll save the zinger for last. The one that I realize as I'm listening to everybody in the second round of tips is learn to say sorry. and learn to say sorry in a way that is meaningful, especially at work. So there have been a couple of occasions when I felt that I had acted a certain way or done something, and I didn't take the opportunity the next time I confronted that person or was working with that person to apologize. It took a while. And by the time I had brought up the courage to say sorry for whatever happened, I felt that it didn't land very well because it didn't feel genuine because it had taken so long. But the person in both instances was generous enough to understand like how much it took out of me. I think I was in my 20s at the time. And so that was something that I carried forward, was the ability to be able to say that you're sorry at work can take you a very long way as well, because people will recognize that in the heat of trying to meet deadline and, you know, the stress that comes with whatever job you're at, it can be very easy to forget that people are people, and that people make mistakes. But if you own up to it, it helps you in your relationships.
You know what, Vivian, we have to make a distinction there, because I think one flaw that many women suffer from, and that is they say they're sorry too much. You know,
but I'm talking about when
there's a really something to be sorry about. But generally, don't you find that so many women, and I'm included in all of this, somebody says something to me, or there's a misunderstanding or whatever, and it's always, oh, sorry. Men don't do that, and I think
no, they don't.
That tendency that we have as women to do that always puts us in a lower position, keeps us down. So I just wanted to make that distinction, because I agree with you. If you do something that really, you feel should not have happened, that's a reason to say you're sorry, but not just as a manner of speaking, because that's what we all seem to do, right?
Yeah. So, well, I mean, Canadians are also teased for that all the time. Like it's like a regular part of the vernacular to say sorry almost all the time in speech. So I'm totally mindful of what you mean there. But I'm talking about when there's like a serious transgression, like something that you did or said wrong or acted in a bad way. And on the flip side, also be thankful. Like thank the right people at the right time. Like, and do it like right there and then as much as you can. When you feel that impulse of, oh shit, I did something bad, or oh my gosh, thank goodness this person was there and did that right then and there. When that impulse hits you, express it. I think it really does make a difference in your relationships.
Excellent. Well, I think it's up to me now. What I would advise my younger self to do is not to compare myself to other people. I always measured, success, or how I look, how I sound, what I say, how I perform. I always would look and think somebody else was doing a much better job, and that just sets you up for failure, really, because you're always thinking that you're never as good, or that you can't compete at that level. So my suggestion to young Roma is stop worrying about how you look in relation to other people, or how you behave, or or how you work next to other people. Just be yourself, and think actually that other people are looking at you and thinking you're better than them. So, maybe take that attitude. Maybe that you are, especially women who tend to put themselves down, think about how, maybe you're the best one in the workplace, and that everybody should look up to you as an example. So that's that. All right.
You, Roma.
Yeah. What's that, darling?
You do you.
Yeah, you do you. I don't think anybody wants to be me after being such a bitch talking about interns. Okay. Anyway, Kristen, you're on.
Sort of going off of what you just said, I was recently at a meeting where this man felt compelled to basically let us know he was the smartest person in the room with his pedigree, where he went to school, how he graduated. And in the context of the conversation, it actually made sense to do that. But I would say to everyone, some of the smartest people I met did not go to college. They might be the most self-reflective, mature, intuitive people. So don't write somebody off just because they didn't go to the best school or get the best grades or have the best job. You can learn a lot from everyone.
Excellent. Excellent. Janine?
I've mentioned this in a previous episode, but I would say to my younger self, find your side hustle. Learn how to make money elsewhere. We all tend to put our eggs in this one basket, right? Like I studied communications in high school. I studied communications in college. Every job that I did had to do with a television journalism career and continuing on one path. And I continued on that one path for a very long time. And then what happens when that path ends, right? For whatever reason. And so having another way to sustain yourself, to fulfill yourself, and to sustain yourself financially, mentally, emotionally, it's a great thing. And because we're all complex and we all have different strengths and we have different talents and we have a lot to offer the world. So why just limit yourself to doing one thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that really works. It worked for you, certainly, because
so far so good.
Successful consultant. It's wonderful. Okay, Amanda.
I guess this is kind of just like the theme or whatever, but while we were talking, I was thinking don't be an asshole. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just don't, there's so many things in your lifetime where you have like the opportunity to like do the right thing, to do nothing and sort of just be kind of under the radar, or you do like the asshole thing. And when you make that choice to go over here, like, know when you're doing it, and there's probably a reason why you've done it or whatever. And I think when you're younger, I think it's much easier to fall into that because you're probably caught in the moment of whatever's happening, or maybe you're just part of a group where there's like stuff going on. But like, I just always think that you should probably, stop for a second before you make any decision in a group setting or professionally, whatever, anything, that you should always just sort of govern yourself by like, is this the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? Do I feel like I'm inherently being a good person am I representing myself the way I want to? Because especially now, like we see this all the time. Like I have to say, I am so grateful. I am so grateful that like I'm younger than you guys, but I'm old enough to have lived past like a telephone. I mean, like a phone in my face, and my life documented, my I'm not going to say all the words but like my very formative early 20 years, like were not documented all over social media, because I just think there are so many a-holes on social media, I think there are so many opportunities to just like skip that. And most people don't at this point, like whatever we see on social media. And so I just think that there should be like, that guy that holds up the signs, the social media signs, and he just like, his sign should just say like, don't be an asshole. That's what
That's none of us for sure. Vivian, do you have one more? Or do you want to wait until, because we're going to go around one more time?
No, I think I think the only other tip that I would give to myself is, well, I should preface it by explaining a little bit. So I had this period in my life where I failed reaching for jobs or going for a promotion. It happened a number of times, and I noticed a pattern. I had stopped having fun. I had stopped going out. I had stopped dating. Like I had this funny pattern of breaking up with people right before I was going to go for a job. So when I discovered this, I decided, you know what? Every time I go for a new job now, I am going to have me some sexy time.
You might not know that.
So I will explain that by saying you can define that any way you want to. For me, it was like going for a massage, going to the spa, even going out for a night out with my friends. Sexy time is just like anything that is confidence boosting, where you're just like, you get to dress up, you get to make yourself look good, feel good. It could be by yourself, it could be with others. Sometimes I would call up my favorite squeeze and say, hey, like maybe you and I should get together tonight. And I'm telling you, I got all the jobs that I wanted after I made that decision.
Wow.
So take that.
As long as they're not with the bosses.
No.
Making the decisions.
That is another topic altogether. Like what women go through in the TV business. No, this was strictly like just, I wanted to be able to feel confident going into the interview or applying or meeting somebody for the first time, or the first round of, interviews that you were doing. And I decided I'm going to take time, like not the night before, but that weekend or that week, I'm just going to boost my confidence by surrounding myself with either people that I want to be with and who make me feel physically good and emotionally good, or I'm going to do something to pamper myself and make myself feel beautiful inside out.
Is that how you got this?
Pixie time.
How Vivian got her groove back.
Yeah, right.
New
lesson,
movie, part two.
the lesson here: go have some good sex, and then you
Go have some sex. Go have sex.
Well, I don't know. That's a tough one to follow up. Well, interestingly, what I was going to offer is that, you make your own luck sometimes. And it's not just, if you really want it badly enough, you're going to get it. But if you think outside the box and, come up with unique ways to try to get the attention of the people that you want to hire you, that generally is, I think, a lot more effective than going through the motions of sending in the resume and all that. Because, to be honest, I don't think any of my jobs, I don't think I got any of my jobs going the conventional route. I think they were all just being at the right place at the right time. And, and interesting, that definition of luck is, what is it? Luck is preparation meets opportunity, right? But bad luck is lack of preparation meets reality. So I guess the bottom line here is really go out of your way to learn as much as you can about the line of work that you're interested in, because you just never know when you're going to meet the right person who says, hey, I was looking for someone just like you. But you got to put yourself in their face, if figuratively speaking, that is, or be like Vivian and
Are you taking shots of cooking oil?
Yeah, Vivian, boy, you really you taught us a lot. All right, just I think we're running out of time. Did anybody have any more that they wanted to share? Because I think we can close it out. Nope. Okay, Amanda. Yeah.
One quick one would be: don't be afraid to move on from wherever you're at. If you feel like you're ready, you should take the leap and do the thing that you thought maybe you couldn't do. And also, this kind of works hand in hand. If you're going to do that, wherever you are, I would say the secret to surviving any career is to find some good friends. I would say to really try to cultivate. And I mean, we obviously, 5 of us have a very nice familial friendship. I do think that I get by with a little help from my friends is not a small saying. It means a lot. And I think it will carries a lot of weight. And I think that if you find a group that you can sort of fall in with and you can stick with those people, that it will make your days in the workplace infinitely easier.
Bravo. Well said. So I was looking for, some nice quote that I could share here. And the best one I could come up with comes from Vince Lombardi, the football coach. And he said, the only place success comes before work is in the dictionary. So think about it. You really do have to work in order to, achieve your goals and your success. So thanks, guys. That was really fun. We're going to have to do another round of those. That was a blast. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in to The 5 of Us. We want to hear from you with any questions, ideas, or suggestions for future discussions. Just write to us at the email you see here, and we will be eager to help. Talk to you next time.